Hello and welcome back to the Velvet Lounge. Today what I'm going to discuss are finances and how you can save tens of thousands of dollars on purchasing a new home, and how you can save some money when you go to rent an apartment or someone's house or something like that. Obviously, you're not going to save as much as a renter, but still, a few tips, tricks, keeps a few of your hard-earned dollars in your own pocket. So I'm going to get right into it because I don't want this to be an overly long video. So if you guys could please hit the thumbs up or the subscribe button, I would appreciate it. And also in the comments, share your tips and tricks for saving money when you are in the process of doing a real estate transaction. So I will preface this quickly with the fact that my husband and I both became licensed real estate agents, but we never practiced. We did it simply so that we could, first of all, see if we could pass the test and what it was all about. And while we were taking the class, we knew we would learn a lot and get a lot of insider information about real estate. And I owned my first home when I was 21 years old. And when I was 21, I had no knowledge of real estate other than you pay money, you own a place, it's yours, you have a mortgage, and you're supposed to pay the mortgage, take care of your property. But as far as knowing that everything is negotiable, everything is negotiable. That's a huge secret in the real estate industry that most buyers do not know about. Of course, people now know probably that the price of the home is negotiable, but there are a lot of fees. Every single fee that you pay practically is negotiable. So we will get into that. And this is going to be a 3 or 4 part series. So this is the first video in this series, and then we will, have a couple others that my husband will also sit in on that, we will continue to give you information about. So the first thing I'm going to say is I believe that you should be preparing at least a year in advance or a season in advance before selling your home, if you have a home to sell, or if you plan on buying a home. And the reason for this is it gives you time to slow your roll before you go out there and start buying stuff that you will regret later. It also gives you time to plan the stages of your move as well as the stages of your cash, and it gives you time to negotiate deals so that you are not paying top dollar for every fee or every service or every commission. Yeah, the realtor's commission is totally negotiable. So you want to, and these things, a commission itself, if you could get that commission down 1.5%, 2%, you just saved yourself tens of thousands of dollars right there. Some real estate agents may not go down more than 1.5%. Awesome, I take it. We've gotten our realtors to go down as low to get to reduce our commission by 2%. So it's 2% lower than what they would charge anyone else. So like I said, we're going to give you a lot of that insider information, and I'll just throw some tips and tricks out there on the fly like I just did. So if you need to get a notebook and a piece of paper, awesome. Please rewatch this video as well as in the comments below. Leave like I said, any information you have about what you would do and what you've done that's worked and is legal. We only care about legal fixes and tips and tricks. If it's illegal, no one cares because it could end, who wants to end up in jail over a real estate transaction? To me, that makes no sense. So the first thing I'm going to start with are some of the basics, are what I call the DFR. That's declutter, fix, and refresh. So if you own a home, or even if you rent a home or an apartment or whatever, you should, first of all, as a renter, you should want your security deposit back simply by decluttering, by repairing anything or fixing anything that you know you're responsible for. Before you ever moved into that apartment, I hope you took photographs of what it looked like before you moved in. If there was an issue, you took photographs of that issue, because at the end of it all, they might hold you responsible for something you technically really weren't responsible for, but the burden of proof is on you. And if you watched enough Judge Judy shows or any of like Judge Mathis shows, then you should know this. These complaints come up all the time about renters, and whether it's a landlord's fault or the renter's fault. And most of the time the renter gets caught holding the bag because they didn't document. So if you take those pictures, save them on a flash drive because you won't need them for years. You know, hopefully you have a safe or safety deposit box to put that flash drive in. The other thing besides fixing is refreshing. So if a room needs painting, go ahead and paint it. If you're not a good painter, I mean, right now they have like great painter's tape and stuff like that, but there are still some people who are not good at painting. That's totally fine. I'm sure that you know friends. There are colleges that have, I don't know how it works, but it's like a painting co-op. And I know in our town they'll leave signs, and we have a college that's one town over from us. And, you know, to make a living or to supplement their college expenses, you know, at really a really awesome price. These people will come in and professionally paint for you. There's also handyman services. So there are ways to do it if you don't know how to do it. And once again, negotiate those prices, get a couple estimates so that you can ensure that you're not getting ripped off, and go from there. Also, refreshing means from the inside of your house to the outside of your house, to the top of your house, to the absolute bottom of your house, let alone to the far left and the far right. Every portion of your home should be spotless. There is no reason why people should find dog hair, stains, dirty walls, creaky stairs, like all of that stuff should be taken care of outside. You should pay attention to your landscaping, because the first image people get of your home is from the outside. And if they're like me, if we're driving by a home and the realtor is, that's it right there, if I don't like it from the outside, I never get out of the vehicle and waste my time looking at the inside. I don't care how pristine it is inside. You didn't care enough to take care of it on the outside. I hate to use this phrase, but I feel as if I walk into your home, did you just slap lipstick on a pig? Ugh, I hate that saying because of the person who said it, but it's a good one. You have to admit it. You have to give credit where credit is due. But that's the only thing that person did that anyone probably really should like. But anyway, that's another subject. So you really do want to make sure that, you know, people have the correct impression of your home. The other thing it does, if you don't take the time to declutter, fix, and refresh, which is our DFR, is you will reduce the value of your home. Even if your home is truly and absolutely worth more, people will not see it as being worth more if they don't see that the care has been put into it. And the other thing you want to do is check the major systems in your home. Make sure that you schedule a maintenance check for them, even if you haven't had one in a couple of years. Hopefully you have one every year. We do have maintenance checks on our major systems, like our central air. We use a forced air system throughout our house, and we use gas, so we have that checked every single year. And in our well, we actually have a well system, so we actually have folks come out and check that, and we have a septic system that's checked every year. So we make sure these things are checked. If they need to be fixed or cleaned out or whatever has to happen to them, we always have paperwork, and it's always less expensive in the long run, because you don't want to have like a $10,000 repair that's needed when you maybe only needed a $100 fix. So that has worked for us over the years. And also, depending upon what your services are, like we have a couple of the services where that's actually included, like when we pay our gas bill, that part of our deal with them is that they do that for us and we don't pay for that. And then as part of that deal, we make a lot of deals. We have another deal with another company that's a parent company of that company, where they will actually come out and check our air conditioning and heating system, the complete heating system every year. So, you just want to make sure that you're being smart about that. And then as far as a repair goes, that's like anything that you see that you obviously know needs a repair, but take a step back, pretend you're, a stranger. What are they going to be looking at? What are they going to notice that you may not notice? Just go ahead and take care of it, because it will only help increase the value of your home, make it more attractive than other homes, and especially when you have the paperwork to show that you've maintained your systems and such, that actually adds value as well. The declutter is literally, tables should be clear unless you have one thing in the center of it that's pretty and that's decorative, that makes sense. You don't need to have complete place settings. I never put out any of that stuff, and I've owned 3 homes, so I think I know what I'm talking about. And also your countertops. People don't want to see the 400 little appliances that you have. They want to see how much counter space they'll have when they're there making meals for their family, or when they want to put their 400 appliances on it. So I would put all of that stuff away. Make sure like I said, your counters are decluttered, but also make sure your cabinets below as well as those above are neat and tidy. Make sure that your closets, also every single closet, even the ones that you're like, this is my junk closet. It's okay. You can have a junk closet, but it should just be neat and tidy. We go as far as making sure like our bureaus and chest of drawers, they have very little on them unless it's like maybe some nice decorative setup, but something that's not overly complicated and cluttering. And then as well as vanities and bathroom sinks and flushable toilets. Like the people actually, especially if they come back a second or third time, they should be checking these things. And if they have an inspection, that inspector should be going through things with a finer tooth comb than that. You want to make sure your windowsills, I'm looking over at my window right now, but you want to make sure your windowsills are clean. Your windows are clean. The windows work properly. As I stated outside, yes, curb appeal is huge, but you also want to make sure that if things need pruning, or you need to add a flower here or there, or take up a dead plant or something, or cut plants back down to the ground because they're going to be hibernating for the season, for the winter, that you take care of those things. So in this first video, I really want to talk about the prep of it all. And like I said, some of this applies to people who are renters, and some of it obviously will apply to homeowners. But for renters, the idea is that you get back every dollar of your security deposit, or every penny that you can get back, because that money can be used to help you find a new place to live. And, even if you're going to go back and live with your parents for some reason, it's your money that you worked for. You should get as much of that back as possible. So once again, before that landlord comes in to inspect your apartment and make sure he or she signs something stating that they agree that the apartment has been left in the condition it should have been left in. Also, make sure you take pictures of the empty apartment so they don't come back later and try to claim that something was your fault that wasn't. And keep those pictures for, at least 6 months or so that that you can get the majority of your security deposit back. So I want to thank you for tuning in for this first video in the series that I'm going to call Real Estate 101. I am not a real estate professional, nor is my husband. You should seek professional advice. However, we will talk about real estate agents in the next video that's coming up. It's going to be very interesting, very telling. And we hope that you guys will subscribe, share, comment, like, give us a thumbs up. Please make any suggestions. And in those comments, please tell us, like I said, what do you guys do? What have you done that's worked for you to save money for your family on a new mortgage or even on getting a new apartment, especially in these big cities where it's so expensive to rent. So thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. You guys have a great day and do something fabulous.